What is your, like, look, I'm not one of these big guys that thinks there's one reason that people to this point haven't been watching the primetime games. Because the Sunday, 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, for the most part, those numbers are about the same. But between Thursday night, Sunday night, Monday night, the numbers have gone off a cliff in comparison to previous, just comparison to last year. What's your working hypothesis as to, if there's a pie, what's the biggest piece of the pie?
Okay, well, that's a great way to put it. I would say just there are too many games. Now, look, we've always had Sunday games, Sunday night games, Monday games, maybe, the occasional Saturday game, whatever. And I know Thursday is only one game, but that one game, most of these games, not all, a lot of them have been so bad that it gives you the feeling you're just watching a money grab, which we've all done, but this is the repercussions of one of them of making that money grab. You do that, you put on crappy games, and it's not the fault of the players half the time, because half the time some of those guys are playing on a Sunday and playing on a Thursday in the body. You were a former athlete, you were a college athlete at a high level. Imagine playing the NFL and doing that. Playing on a Sunday and then playing on a Thursday. What do you think the game's going to look like? What do you think's going to happen? This is it. That's the biggest part of the pie.
Well, I'll give you the parallel is, in the Big 12, for example, you play on a Saturday and then on a Monday,
right?
And look, you get worn down, but it's still, even then, if you did Saturday, Monday, and then you played again during the week, which you generally don't do, but if you did, and look, college basketball has become relatively irrelevant most of the regular season. One, because piece of the pie, they're competing against football part of the year, which I think is a mistake. But the other reason is too many games on. Literally every game is on, so there's nothing special of like, I missed it. That's all right, there's another game on, right?
Exactly. And throw in the fact that most NFL fans are college football fans. So now there's games Saturday, Sunday day, Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night. It's just too much. Mark Cuban, look, he has self-interest, right? He wants the NFL to struggle because it's better for him and his league. But he was right about this. He said this years ago, that he predicted that this could happen. And I think we're seeing it. I think that's the biggest reason. There's a whole host of reasons, as you pointed out, but I think that's the biggest one.
All right, there's also the election. You wrote a piece earlier this week on how the election is going to divide locker rooms. For people who haven't read it, the Cliff Notes version is what?
Well, the Cliff Notes version is sort of a continuation of a story I wrote earlier before the election during this year, where it's locker rooms, Doug, as you know, many of them reflect America. They reflect society. And if you look at how a lot of people feel about Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump, that plays out in a locker room. Now, the guys aren't in a locker room throwing chairs at each other. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying the same type of frictions, and not in every locker room, but I know in some, same type of frictions that play out here in America play in locker rooms. Locker rooms are no different from the rest of us. They have strong feelings. African-American players have very strong feelings about Trump, many of them, and players have very strong feelings about Hillary Clinton, and it plays out. It's played out throughout the year, and that was basically the crux of the story.
I guess the question becomes this, in watching it, I'm wondering if this will ever – we've seen players get more involved in social issues.
Right.
Most famously, LeBron James just campaigned for Hillary Clinton. I guess the question becomes, will players, have these type of interest and speak out even more emotionally before the next election instead of after the election, right? I mean, like, that's really – it's like, look, I respect Steve Kerr and I respect Stan Van Gundy, but had they said what they said on Monday instead of on Wednesday, it might have had a little bit more of an effect.
I think that's a fair point, and I would love to hear your thoughts on this as a hardcore basketball guy. Okay. Why the NBA seems so far ahead of the NFL when it comes to speaking on social issues, but that's a whole nother show.
No, I mean it's
crazy. Like, why are the coaches in the NBA? Your point is well taken. It's right, but you never see NFL coaches talking that way at all.
Well, okay, there's
basketball all the time. It's crazy.
Well, there's a couple levels to it. Look, my head coach in college is Eddie Sutton. Of course, he was at Arkansas when when Bill Clinton was there. And he told me, and maybe this is his own perspective, I remember him talking about politics with us, and he said generally college basketball coaches are Democrats and the football coaches are generally more Republicans, and maybe that's based upon maybe it's more based upon race and location of the players and where they're recruiting them. Maybe it's based upon the fact that many of the coaches, he was from a small town in Kansas, but many of them themselves are from cities as opposed to rural areas. But I would say some of it is a sensitivity towards the people that they see and work with every day.
I think that's right. Yeah.
And I think also to reflect.
Football coaches have that sensitivity. The NFL's 70% black. There's a fearlessness that NBA coaches have that a lot of NFL coaches do not. NFL coaches talk to me all the time off the record, and they always begin with, "Don't talk about this publicly. Don't quote me on this, but I hate this. I do." And they talk politics all the time, but they're afraid to do it publicly. It's amazing. It's an amazing difference to me. I think you hit on one of the big differences is the people they work around. But these head coaches in the NFL, they work around players all the time too. So I saw what Kurt said and what I was just dumbfounded in a good way. Like, I love that they do that. I love that, but I was stunned. I didn't hear one NFL coach talk about politics in the NFL.
And hey, Nick Saban said he didn't even know the election took place on Tuesday. That's what he actually said.
Do you believe that?
No, it's of the lies told by coaches, and college football coaches lie on a daily basis. Like, that's on the Mount Rushmore of lies. Like, you didn't know? Like, you could have given me anything. You could have said, I prefer not to share politics. I hope everybody voted or something. But to say, I didn't even know it took place. Like, stop it.